Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
We're out here on a beautiful day. We're actually shooting this on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, can you believe it? It's lovely out here in the middle of February.
Yeah, it's great. And we got a big jug of stuff here. What do we got?
We've got Cyser.
What's the Cyzer?
Well, little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet. along came a spider and sat down beside her. So it's apple juice and honey.
Okay.
It's apple juice and honey, and
So it's a combination between a cider and a mead.
that's right.
And
it's called a Cyser.
You got some spices in there too.
I do.
Now, why don't you allow? You want me to pour?
Yes.
What? And we this is almost like we planned this. Again, we've got a finished product, and we're going to tell you how to make it.
That's right.
So tell us the story behind this.
Well, back in the old days, back in October or perhaps late September, I'm not quite sure when, I bought a gallon of apple cider just to drink. And then I thought, I'm not going to waste it on that. So I made a 6-pack of Cyser.
Okay. Small batch.
Small batch. And I didn't pay any attention to it. I just kind of had a pound of honey that was at the house, and I had a gallon of the apple cider. I threw a little bit of nutmeg in it. I put a stopper in it with I pitched USO 5. Nothing fancy at all. And I thought, oh, well, this will be good in 2 or 3 months. So I was good enough to stay out of it until about 4 or 5 days ago. And then I decided to try a bottle. And it is delicious. Deliciamundo. So what do you think? Cheers.
Cheers.
Very nice.
I'd pay for that.
Well, you'd pay for almost anything. But so anyway, when I made this and then tried it, and it was very, very nice, I thought, boy, I want to make some more of that, and I want to make it for the next holiday season. For 2013, the holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's, whatever.
It's very well balanced. You can taste the apples, and you can taste the honey. Very nice.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Good job.
Thank you. And so simple. So anyway, 3 or 4 days ago, I was at our local natural foods co-op, and they had some cider, some organic, pasteurized but not preserved.
Right. No preservatives.
No preservatives. You don't want any preservatives. And so I bought a couple of gallons of it, and it's in here. And I bought a 2-pound jar of local Arkansas wildflower honey. It's a really nice quality honey, the same honey that's in here. And we just threw this batch together. It's so easy to make.
So take us step by step.
Step by step.
How we do this?
What I did was to warm about a half a gallon of the cider in a saucepan, so that it would just get the honey incorporated, so the honey would just loosen up and incorporate well. So I started that, let that heat up probably only to about 90, maybe 100 degrees. It doesn't have to be very hot, just to get it mixed up.
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit, yes. Thank you.
Which would be 30-something Celsius.
I never wing it on that, because you could either freeze them out or it'd be so hot you couldn't.
So while that was heating.
While that was heating, I poured the rest of the cider into the fermenter. Of course, the fermenter was pre-sanitized. Everything was sanitized. And I poured the cider in. I didn't worry about boiling anything or sanitizing it, because it's pasteurized cider. So I just took the lid off and poured it into a sanitized container.
Right.
That's it. While the other cider was still heating, the cider and honey, I made a little spice mix, which consists of 1 clove, 1 allspice berry, 5 or 6 cardamom berries. Cardamom berries or seeds are really tiny, and they're really strong. You don't need too many. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 heaping teaspoon of pureed ginger.
I have a cardamom sweater.
That's right.
Now you got this. The ginger's in this tube, and it was already pureed.
Yeah, you can buy it at the local, Megalomart, and it's very handy, and it's really good and fresh, and so you don't have to spend a lot. Get out of there, fly!
Yeah.
And it's February. There's flies.
Yeah.
Got to clean the bathroom more often. So anyway, really all you do is just pour it all together
Yeah.
It's so much easier than making beer.
So after you put the spices in and you warmed up the honey a little bit and incorporated the cider, you poured it all in together.
That's right.
And shook it up. And it's a little sticky on the outside.
Yeah.
And put the yeast. And what yeast did you use?
I pitched the Red Star Premier Cuvée, so it's a wine yeast.
Okay.
Really good champagne yeast. And my intention is that it will ferment all the way out. I don't want to leave it with a lot of residual sugar.
And some yeast nutrient. You put some yeast nutrient in
and
there.
a tablespoon of yeast nutrient. So
And you shook it up to aerate and to mix well, and took a gravity reading.
And the gravity was 1083.
1083. So did you get, you're like me, sometimes you forget to take gravity readings, especially at the end of fermentation. You're so excited it's done.
Yeah.
So did you take gravity readings on this one that
No,
we're drinking?
I did not.
Okay. I'm glad I brought that up.
This was supposed to be a kind of a throwaway. I just wasn't thinking, because I was just, it's just like I was cooking dinner and making cider at the same time.
And they're so darned easy to make.
Yeah, and
So how long is this going to be in the primary fermenter?
until it ferments out. And, I'm going to leave it in the primary until it's done fermenting. So I'll take gravity readings along the way. It'll do its thing. It'll be active, and then it'll be not so active, and then it'll clear. And somewhere in there, I'll start taking a gravity reading. And when I've decided that it's done, which is going to be, at 10, basically. I mean, it's going to be, 10-10 or lower.
Right.
And so when I get down to 10-10, I'll probably call it good. And at that point, I'll go ahead and rack it into, I've got several of these 2.5 gallon glass carboys. I'll rack it into another one to let it sit and clarify further. I'll probably go ahead and adjust the pH at that time to get a little acid up into it. But it's my understanding, and it's what I've always done, I don't put acid blend or I don't adjust the pH at the beginning because it can stress the yeast.
And you want to taste it at the end to see.
Yeah, I want to see what it needs, and so I'll just make a judgment at that time about where I think the flavor profile is.
Do you think you'll back sweeten it?
Well, I think that I might, but my intention at the moment is to leave it like a dry, still wine. That's my intention.
Like this?
Like this. I really like
Very
this
good.
quite a lot. This would be a great beverage to have with a nice meal, with Thai food or with with spicy food. Would be very good. Anyway, that's my intention. But when I get to the point of bottling, which is going to be next October, it's going to be several months from now. What I might very well do is split it off, and so I might take a 6-pack of it, a gallon of it, and back sweeten that, and I might take the other 6-pack and leave it still. Maybe I'll prime it and sparkle it,
And maybe that's a show.
and maybe that's a show.
Maybe in the fall we'll come back and we'll taste it, or you'll taste it, make the decision what you're going to do next. Maybe maybe it's just so good as it is. You'll bottle it, and that's it.
And that's it.
Meads and ciders are very easy. I mean, you can get a lot more technical with staggered nutrient additions, which will give you a finished product probably more quickly. But you're going to be patient about this. You're going to stick it in the closet.
Yep.
And
Right next to the underwear. Not really. My wife's unmentionables.
it's okay. The airlock is on. On that note, we hope you had a happy Valentine's Day. This is a happy one because here we are.
There we are.
So cheers,
Cheers.
happy brewing, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Come and visit us on the web at basicbrewing.com. You can find archive lists of both our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs, Extract Brewing and Partial Mashing, Stepping into All Grain, Low-Tech Lagering and Decoction Mashing, Introduction to Wine Kits, and our Basic Brewing Brewer's Logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Write to James at basicbrewing.com, Steve at basicbrewing.com, or just use the contact form on basicbrewing.com.
Isn't that good?
That is tasty.
So I'm going to stay out of it now. For a few more months.
Oh,
I've got
the
4,
6-pack.
Yeah, I've got 4 bottles left. And
Good
see
luck with
how
that.
I know. Well, I've been pretty good about it. Like I've still got a 6-pack of the habanero mead left,
Oh, that was good.
and I've got several bottles of that Pyment Malbec mead from 2009.
You need to have a party.
And I got, and then I've got something else. Oh, that the ginger almond mead from last fall. And I've
You
got,
still have the Greg Almond mead?
yeah. Well, I had to share it.
I scared the bird.